I was like, I want a mentor, but come on, I can't pay $9,000 right now for just an upfront fee. One moment in life can change your life.
So after joining, how has Elite Builders changed your life?
With the people that can help me to build and grow. And sometimes prayers don't come very right away, right? It's a process you have to walk. But he answered, and I have them. And I'm living a time where I'm like so excited for building and building with a purpose, not just to build to say I am or I accomplish. It goes beyond that.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here with Edna Hernandez, one of our Elite Builders ladies from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I love to highlight ladies in our organization who are doing big things, and Edna has a solid brand. She's doing events, she's attracting agents. So welcome, Edna, and thank you so much for being here.
No, Carla, thank you so much for the invitation. When I received the invitation, I was very flattered, very happy. I'm very excited and looking forward to talk to you today.
Great. Well, I want to get right into your brand because it is so original and different. You go by Posh Barbie online. Yes. So can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with that and, what it means?
Yes, of course. Well, Posh Barbie has started like a while ago. I would say probably like around 10 years already. Back then it was a time when blogging was the thing, right? When WordPress and Instagram was like starting. So back then I had a gastro sleeve. So I've always had the need to share and express, especially when there's like a purpose behind. So I started just sharing, right, about what I was going through, the process. And then, but I was like, I just don't want to just Edna, right? I was telling my friend, I need something that it sounds, different and nice. And he goes, what about Posh, right? I was like, I like it, like very demure, very, very posh, very me. I love it. I said, but I don't want to just sound so like I want to have a purpose behind it. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, Posh. So powerful, strong, original, healthy. I was like, you know what? I said, Posh is going to be the thing. So, and I wanted something that represent me, not just me, but any person that I would, speak to. More than anything, I think Posh is not necessarily about, oh, I am powerful. Oh, I am strong. It's about, we are powerful. We are strong. We are healthy, right? We are, original. We are different. So that's what Posh is. Not necessarily just about me as a brand, but the purpose behind and the people that will around me.
Well, you are really ahead of your time, talking about your story and sharing on Instagram before, or even the blog before it was popular. So how did you get that idea? Like, where did that come from?
The idea of Posh?
No, just the idea of, sharing your story on Instagram and, using social media as a platform.
You know what? I always, for some reason, just have the need to express myself and just like, just talk to people. And sometimes I'm like, okay, and I honestly, I appreciate that, I don't think I'm at the level where I want on my platforms. I think there's so much that I want to do and I want to create and I want to impact. So I think that, like sometimes when you want to share, you have a voice, you have to think and say, okay, sometimes we want to do things and we don't know how, right? And we're just like, how did I do that? And I'm like, well, now social media is there. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of just getting like a microphone and a camera and just say, right? Express, be yourself, tell a message. So to me, platforms, I mean, and again, when I was, doing the Posh Barbie, it was a process that I was going myself with the weight loss, right? And still working on it years later because COVID happened, right? And I fell off the wagon and it was part of still Posh Barbie. during that COVID time, it was a crossroads where I was like, am I going to law school to be a real estate attorney, or I'm going to be a realtor? And I said, you know what? The investment of time and money, it's very much, there's a big difference. So I said, what about I don't just go to real estate, get the license, and if I don't sell anything on my first year, I'll go ahead and just I just go to law school, right? And just continue. And but no, thank God I sold. I was like, you know what? I'm made for this. So Posh Barbie has had like, people that follow me from before has seen that, grow with me from like being a teacher, from, going on the weight loss journey, lose the weight, gain the weight, try to lose again, becoming a realtor, building something right now. So it's amazing how what the platforms and social media can offer you, because people really like get to see you now. You decide, right, what intention and what purpose you want to give it. But if you use it to build and to provide and to guide and to pour into people, it's great. The sky is the limit of how much people you can speak to. So what is, that's how Posh Barbie, the need of expressing myself and tell a story about me. And some people has been with me from the beginning, and I don't have millions or thousands and thousands of followers, but I think the ones I have, they cherish me and I cherish them. And we share and we build together.
That's
So
awesome. And I respect the fact that you say, like, I'm not where I want to be. And it really doesn't matter because just you putting your story out there, connecting with people, it attracts people to you because they see that vulnerability, they see your authenticity, and people want to be, with others that are authentic and living their truth.
well, yeah, I think, you just can't just be every person do their lives as they wish, right? But not everything's on the high reel, right? Sometimes we have to be more authentic and really share like the ups and downs. Not
Right.
everything success is not just everything success and fun and beautiful. Even the life itself, being a realtor, is not linear. It's up and downs. And I think as one of my things that I pray all the time is to be as authentic as possible and be as real as possible, to really serve and really provide something to real people, not just to pretend, oh, I'm this person and everything's fine and everything's great. No, this is life. And if I'm here to help you, this is what I've experienced. These are the tools. This is what I've learned. This is what I can give you. So that's how I push Barbie see it. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Like when you go back, like, and still, I'm still in the process. I'm still, like I said, people have seen me lose the weight, gain the weight, and now I'm like, let's lose it again. So it's a process, and people's like, you know what? I guess I'm not the only one just going through this. Like, there's somebody
Exactly.
else also going through this struggle, and guess what? They're still going. They're still hustling. They're still trying.
Yeah, and they're going to learn things from your mistakes. So you're actually really saving people a lot of time and effort by showing like, okay, I did that, that didn't work, and now I'm trying this, that worked. So it's all a process.
Yes, and it's more like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. And if we can, let's try to do it together.
Right. Lift up each other.
Let's
So
just help.
the way that I met you is that you joined our organization, Elite Builders. How
Yes.
did you learn about it and how did you join?
I'm gonna really backtrack because this is something
Okay.
that I love, and I'm so excited, I'm passionate, and I'm looking forward for all the amazing things we're doing. So I was a high school teacher, right? And I became a realtor during the COVID time.
Hmm.
Then it was during the time that it was probably easy to be a realtor, right? It was during the interest rates were low, everything was going great. And I was doing both simultaneously. So it was great. But then there's a moment in your career, right, that we reach plateau, that you're like, okay, there's so much that I've used my sphere. There's so much like everybody that knows me that purchase a home, I need to escalate. I need to outsource. I need to move. So you start getting this, let's say, thirst or hunger or like of knowledge and getting to see more. So I myself, because then there's a moment that I decided, I was like, I don't want to teach anymore. I want to retire and I want to just focus on what I'm not saying I learned to love teaching and it's still in me, but it was not something that I saw myself working, or it was not, let's say, the calling, right? I think I'm called to be a teacher, but not necessarily in the classroom. But I'll come back to that one. So then I went to a conference, and again, I'm in this typical boutique brokerage where they provide you with the, the training, the service, but you're flying solo. Like you're on your own, bless your heart, go learn, do on
Bless
your
your
own, right? Like you go do. And I'm like, I went to a conference, the Tom Ferris conference. And I was like, dang, I'm not used to pay so much for, like I'm still in that mindset. I was like, oh, $500, it's a lot. But I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to go. So when I get to that conference that summer, I hear all these like things about having mentors, having coaches, people prospecting, people having contacts, people having systems. And I'm like, so you're telling me that this is what realtors do?
Mhm.
Because me, I was just posting a picture, posting a video. People would call me. I was getting a lot of my leads from my sphere that they were watching me on social media, but I wasn't intentionally running a business the way with a system with like mentors. And I was like, so you're telling me people paid $9,000 for a mentor for what, right?
Mhm.
So I was so curious. So I would go around the room in that conference because I went by myself. I had nobody else to go with. And I encountered this realtor that had been a realtor for like 10, 15 years. And she's like, yeah, I just got myself a mentor. I was like, so you're telling me you just pay like $9,000? She's like, yeah, I paid. And she goes, believe me, I'm going to get my money worth of the mentor that I'm getting. I'm like, but you're already at realtor. She goes, honey, you never, stop learning and you need a mentor. And I was like, and then I stayed with that and I was like, I want a mentor, but come on, like, I can't pay $9,000 right now for, just an upfront fee. And I was like, well, but I went, they poured so much, but still it was very confusing because I was not used to that language of prospecting and circle prospecting and cold calling, or it was just a foreign language to me, but I liked it. Yeah, I was very intrigued. Probably 2, 3 weeks after, I went to a networking event and I met Jessica.
Oh.
I met Jessica. It was one of those, one moment in life can change your life. I've never, when you hear people saying, I had that moment that I was at the right time and I
Mhm.
met the right person. And I always wonder, is that ever going to happen with me? Like you hear people's stories, right? And you're like, I've never had that, right? Well, I can say and I can share now that I had that I was at the right time with the right person, that you crossed paths. And I remember that I met Jessica. And I was very, I don't know, she has such a strong presence, such a leadership, such a presence that was what I was looking or craving for. And I remember that I met her and she's like, we need to connect. And I was like, we do, we do. So everything started. I started going to one of her events and she was very gracious with me. Like I started going to the events, sharing and building that relationship. And yeah, then a moment, of course, we had a third party call with Aaron.
Yeah.
And, Aaron's like, this is the time where you decide. And I said, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Let's go. Let's do it. And I joined. And I joined. And since then, goodness gracious, it's been, you know, growing. Sometimes growing, it's uncomfortable and it can be different. It can be, you know, stretching you and growing and expanding your mind, your horizons, your mindset, that means it comes a lot of changes and
It's always uncomfortable.
a lot of learning to do that you're like, whoa, I've never, like lately I just encountered myself, I've never done this, I've never happened, or I've never had to feel this way, I've never thought this way. And it's like learning. And it's the learn that I have in this. I joined exactly on 12/12. It was the
Oh.
application. So I remember when I said, oh my gosh, it was 12/12, December 12th. I said, this is meaningful. I said, this is, it's a number of growth. They said it's a number of growth and everything aligns. And I was like, okay. So that's what it's been. It's been amazing because it's like growing, but it's like every day thing.
Never ends.
Never
Well,
ends.
Erin always says you're one relationship away from changing the
Yes.
trajectory of your life and your family's life.
Yes.
So, after joining, how has Elite Builders changed your life?
It has dramatically changed my mind because I've always, like I should always have the need of, in my younger years, I was a youth leader, right? So then I became a teacher and I was like leading the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Then you become a realtor and it has not much to do with leadership. It's more like sales and working with the community. But with elite builders, it's like discovering this, not discovering, like I already knew it was there, but it's that platform that it's like the mentorship, the support that I have to really elevate, all those qualities that they're there, right? That passion that it's already there and finding it and shaping, um, to me, it's just so meaningful and so much purpose. It goes beyond of like, oh, I'm just going to sell. It
Mm-hmm.
goes beyond that purpose of like, oh, I just need to be a top producer and I need to make 50K a month. It goes beyond that. Like there's a purpose behind it of building people. And honestly, my mom is like, why are you always like to be like that? I said, I don't know. I just love it's one of my passions and one of my dreams and one of my prayers. And this is something that I know sounds so cheesy, but I've told Jessica, I said, you're an answer prayer to me because I've prayed for many times, God, just put me on the right place, put the right people in my place, put the people that can, you know, help me to build and grow. And sometimes prayers don't come very, very right away, right? It's a process you have to walk. But he answered and I have them and I'm living a time where I'm like so excited for building and building with the purpose, not just to build to say I am of I accomplish. It goes beyond that.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're elevating yourself as a leader. And as you do that, you attract people who are also more elevated. You can pour out more to people who need it. And it's like so nice and like, I don't know, it's wonderful to see the passion in your eyes because I know that it's genuine. You really do want to make an impact on people and help people. And that's rare. Not everybody does that. So I think that's amazing, Edna.
Sometimes like I think something that made me realize like lately is like what is it that I really want to do, right? I love to learn. Like sometimes we do things. I don't want to go through life just living in it very conventional life. Let's put it that way. Like sometimes you just wake up, go to your 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Every person decides, what's comfortable and what makes our hearts, fulfill and happy. But in my case, I had to really say, okay, Edna, what is it that Edna really wants? What is it that Edna really wants to accomplish? Like, what are the goals? What are the dreams? Because sometimes we get lost on that daily life or work. And I think, for me saying, I'm going to retire from teaching and I'm going to just be 100% realtor and just
Mhm.
invest on myself and my team and building others, I think it was the best decision that I had to do. It was scary. It was scary at the beginning. It was like a leap of faith that I had to take, but it just fulfills my heart. And sometimes in life, you have to really decide what is it that you really gonna go, and then just live with the emotions of every day. And even as a realtor, you have to decide what kind of realtor you're gonna be, what kind of leader you're gonna be.
Right. I always think if you're not a little scared and uncomfortable, you're not growing, period.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I respect people's, life's decisions, lifestyles. But in my case, I need to keep growing. I need to keep improving. I need to keep elevating myself. And part of elevating myself, it's elevating others. I just cannot elevate myself. And when you grow, it's like a little plant. It's like a tree. You can just not just have one leaf. You flourish, and it grows branches, and it's part of it. So when you elevate yourself, you elevate others around you, and that's the beauty of it. And that's
That's
why I
the
love so much.
side of you.
And that's what I love elite builders, because it really, Aaron, you, Jessica, it just provides me that, like, it's like that water that feeds my soul to continue flourishing. And you don't find that just anywhere. And I'm sure there's amazing teams with an EXP. There's amazing teams outside. There's for everybody. But I strongly believe that I'm in the right place in
Too. I do
I love
too.
it.
I mean, we are intentionally trying to create a culture and a community of like-minded people who really want to grow, who want to make an impact, who want to help others. So you're definitely in the right place, and I'm so happy that you're here.
Yes,
But
thank you.
I do want to ask you about your events. Like, what are you doing for your events? How are you getting people there? What are you teaching? Tell us all about it.
Well, this is the thing. I've always loved events. You're right. I've always when I was a teacher, I was a high school Spanish teacher, and I had a little business on the side, right? And I was teaching adults Spanish. So some of these people were like, "Hey, I need to practice," but I met those meetups that I go, and I was like, "Tell me about meetups. What are meetups?" And he's like, "Well, people meet and they just network." So I was like, "Oh, I like networking." So I was like, "I'm not gonna go to a network." I said, "I'm gonna create my own network." And I did. I had this big team that it was hashtags I speak Spanish. And
Mm-hmm.
it was meetup.com. You create platforms. There's like, all kinds of clubs that you create. And I end up having like about 1,500 members on my meetup. And it
Wow.
was like 50 people every month, right? And that's when I first found or realized or experienced the power of networking
Mm.
and creating things together, because I remember that I was just, and like, you just have to do things. I was like, you know what, I'm going to create a meetup. So I literally took a little cardboard and I said, hashtag I speak Spanish. I went to a little, like, like it was like a little, like those places where you hang out, like had couches and things like that. And I put me and I literally stood there. And the first person to walk in right now is one of my investors that I'm
Wow.
helping to sell their house. This is how we're talking about 10, 12 years ago. And I remember that I was, people started coming. So in my first meetup event, I had like about 15, 20 people, strangers. And from there, I created them every month. And it was, but it was fun. It was completely networking, fun, happy hours, events, things like that. There's stages in life that time expire. COVID happened. During that COVID, all that paralyzed. So I stopped doing events. And during that time, Edna had a transition, became a realtor. So I was like, I don't have time for those events. I'm a teacher, I'm a realtor. And I already was like, I'm past that, something else. And I remember saying, I'm going to do, there's a new season for it. I don't know what it is,
Mm.
what kind of events I'm going to do, but there's going to be a new season. I was just, because I was like, I tried to do them after COVID. I just didn't feel it with that platform. I said, I want to do events, just not on that platform, on that essence, you know, anymore. And I waited, and now, a few months, I'm with the lead builders, and Jessica's like, let's do events.
And you're like, yes.
I'm like, for who? I'm like, for what? Just to attract. Let's just do events.
Mhm.
It's a great source. Let's do it. And I was like, okay, I've done events. Let's do it. Same
Mhm.
thing. It was January, right? I joined December. She was like, let's do it. Let's start an event, Posh. I'm like, okay. So we'll do a vision board, right? And I was like, okay, well, let's put a flyer again, following the same thing. Let's do a flyer and we'll post it and we'll invite people. And we have 10. And I remember Jessica said, if we have 10 girls, it's okay. I said, I think we're going to have more than 10. She goes, you think? I say, yeah. Well, it was so surprising because our first January event, we were about total like 50 people, 40
Which is
people.
really good.
So I remember that we were like, oh my gosh, like we had a great event. And Jessica said, you know what? Aaron was like, I challenge you to do one every month. I was like, whoa. I said, you want to do one every month? Jess, that's a challenge you have. And we have been consistent. And we started with that one and then with another one. And now I'm ready to take it to a higher, like it's been 8 months, right? Where now I do, of course, my events and I help the downline create their events. So we
Mhm.
always have some kind of event going on, right? And the thing behind, we just don't want to do just events, gathering. It has to, we try to create an event that has a purpose and something to provide for those to attend.
So
So
give us
whenever
some
they,
examples of different event themes that you've done and what they teach and the purpose behind them.
yeah, so for instance, we had the vision board, of course, was January. So I was setting your goals, doing your business plan. It was not just like, oh, girls just doing, a collage. It was more like, let's be intentional. What do you want to put yourself? Like, let's speak, right? To materialize, let's visualize, let's plan, let's have a business plan. And then we had is our second one. Then we had one that was content. So I brought one of my good friends that she's a journalist with Telemundo. So again, like we're like, no, we're doing things bigger and bigger and bigger. So I was like, we rented like this, like the one of the old of the stadiums from the Rangers. Like it had a beautiful view. I was like, I don't care, I want a nice view, right? And let's bring a speaker. So I invited my friend from Telemundo to talk about content,
Mhm.
about presence before in front of the camera and how to capture people, right? So it was a great event, a great turnout. Then of course then we had another one that it was about that's something the push circles. That's something that where we're going next. That's the next stage that we're going to. And what I did was like a panel, right? It was a
Mhm.
panel with really strong realtors in the industry. And that one was very much about for realtors. It was like, how can realtors invest, right? It was how you as a realtor can generate your generational wealth and don't just be like, oh, I have a closing, let me go spend my money.
Mhm.
Let's just really how you as a realtor, as a woman, because I think I'm forgetting that part, that one of the things about my events, the core of them, and now that I'm leaving men aside, but my passion and my love is like women empowerment. So always the purpose behind every topic, it's empowerment. How can you leave this room with a sense of empowerment and knowing that you get this? That you're not just another realtor, you're not just another entrepreneur. You got it to go and be empowered. And as women, to elevate ourselves and support each other and say, you know what, the world is already hard enough for women. We're already here trying to get our voice out. Let's support each other. We're here to build each other, not to put ourselves down, but help work together and elevate together. So I think that's always in every topic, that's something with Posh. And everybody's welcome. But I said, you know what? I don't care. My events are going to be pink. They're going to be posh. They're going to, have the women power elements. Whoever likes it, awesome. If not, well, you can still come. but it has that element of elevating women. And of course, in this case, it's entrepreneur women, business women, real estate business women, and just growing together. And right now, I'm working on, like, I've thank God, because it's giving all the credit to God that he give us, like they say, if you have a dream, it will happen, because it's the seed, it's the vision that God has implanted on you. Like, God has already, if I have those desires, it's because God has already poured them on me for a reason. We just have to execute them and do it. And I, the events have been a great success. But of course, we want to keep growing. We want to do more. We want to sharpen them. We want to do them better. We want to keep growing and making them every time better and better. So now I'm working on, like, doing like this, not just events, but it's be like Posh Circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a circle of trust, a circle of growth, a circle of empowerment, a Posh Circle. And that's where the events are gonna, I wanna, like, create like this networking of women. But of course, as a lead builders, it has the purpose of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
right? But of course, it's the intention, it's not just to attract, but really provide value and empowerment. So the push circles, I'm working on, like, is having more structure. Don't just be like, oh, we have this event, and then 2 months later just have a random event again. It's gonna
Right.
have like this structure of, like, schedules, um, speakers. We're going into like a nice demure restaurant and have a nice brunch with a nice speaker with panels. So we're always, like, not just be like complacent, right? And be like, oh, we're doing great, we'll continue. No, let's keep growing. Let's keep it, do it better and better and better and better. Because I honestly believe the sky is the limit. So we'll see. We'll see how high and how, we can go. But I honestly believe the sky is the limit in what we're doing.
I already see it, Edna. I already see it. It's going to
Thank
be amazing.
you.
No,
I see it.
I love that it's not just teaching women, but it's creating like these circles because we need people. No, we can't do anything big without someone behind us helping us along
And
the
I
way.
and I think that's one of the learns that I've learned with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It's the power of partnership. The power of partnership and the power of having the right people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have partners, but they're not the right partners.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, it sounds like you're not just targeting realtors for these events. You're just targeting women who want to do better in whatever industry they are in, correct?
Yes, I mean, of course, as realtors, right? I have a vision that has been given of, like, building the team and
Mm-hmm.
growing, right, and attract and create a great, great team of realtors, strong, wonderful, powerful, realtors that don't just sell, but also have a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the goal behind it. But I don't like to leave people behind. So, it's about, the core is women and entrepreneurship and business and empowerment. Of course, our goal is always to attract realtors,
Of
but you
course.
don't know what of these, like, women listening can be a collaboration, can
Mm-hmm.
be a partner, can be a vendor, or can become a realtor. Who knows?
Yeah. So how do you promote these events? Just on social media, you just post a flyer, or is there something else that you
For
do?
right now, it's just social media. For right now, it's just, we're like a little wildfire. So as we grow, right, it spreads and spreads. And as my downline grows, of course, it's more and more support. For right now, it's social media right now, that we promote our events. Now, I personally believe, like, contact, right? Like that, like telling someone you cordially invited. So when I have an event, I don't just post it. I really, like, directly invite people. I'm like,
Like,
hey,
like you call them or you,
sometimes some people are just IG friends. Some people I don't even know them and we communicate just IG friends. That's how I call them, my IG friends. So I
Yeah.
cordially invite them so I can actually meet them many times in person, text, call. Every person has a different way. So as I go, I get to, they don't respond by DM. Well, I'll give it a call.
Yeah.
You coming? You don't answer, I'll text you. Are you coming? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think a lot of people who start doing events, they realize how difficult it is to promote them. And you have to put effort into really going after people because even when they say they're coming, sometimes they don't come. And that special touch of just like, hey, I'm personally inviting you, it makes a
yeah.
huge difference.
It does. It does versus just posting it, but versus someone says, "Hey, Edna, hey, Carla, I would love for you to come to my event. We're gonna be talking about this and this and that." And people are more like, "Oh, well, she actually wants me there. Like she
Right.
actually directly invite me."
Right. She's
And
waiting for me.
yes, and once they say yes and they RSVP, I'll make sure you go. So I'm like, "Don't forget, I'll see you tomorrow."
Right.
Don't forget, I'll see you today. So it does take a lot of, I think people sometimes, if they don't, people who don't organize events, they don't realize that work behind it,
Hmm.
not just physically, but emotionally,
Yes.
because you're putting all this work together, trying to bring, the venue, the speaker, the vendors, this, that. And, like, of course you want your event to be a success. And sometimes you can have 60, 80 RSVPs and you only have 20. Not only because this is something that I've learned and something that Jessica told me is like, yes, of course we love numbers. Of course we want to see a room full of people. Of course we
Hmm.
do. But if you have 10, 5, 15, 20 people, that's 20 minds. That's
Hmm.
20 people.
20 lives.
Within those 20 lives, if you make a change on one person, if one person hears you, one people like that person walk out of that room with something, that's one life, and we achieve the goal, we fulfill the goal, that's the purpose. So
Yeah.
yes, of course we love oh, I had 50, 100 people and the room was full. But if you really see it, and that's where I, again, when I refer for growing and maintain yourself like with this a real purpose and a humble heart, be like, okay, if one person came and I make a change on that person, we did good. And that's enough.
Yeah. And the truth is too, is when you have a smaller room, it is more intimate and they feel more comfortable sometimes
Yes.
coming up to you and talking with you. So
Yes.
there's always a plus to everything.
Definitely. Because I do realize that when I have events where there's like a lot of people, I'm like, I feel very anxious because I don't get to provide or cater to everybody. And
Right.
sometimes you see someone, but someone's stopping you see someone and you can't get to them, right?
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
that gets me so anxious. But when you have a smaller room, you're like, oh, I get to really talk to y'all. And
Exactly.
well, yeah, there's some pros and cons and everything in the events, but definitely, I enjoy them. I enjoy putting things together and communicating and inviting people. Sometimes I go through the motions, right? I get so excited on the creation process of the event, the ideas, the brainstorm. We should do this. We should do that. Let's do this. Then the night before, I always say, "Why did I put this?
Why?
Why did I do this to myself? Like why?" Like, and then as you're like carrying the trays or waiting for the gas, and it's like, I always get very like, oh, what, like, you want everything happen in perfection, and there's always something that won't go perfect, and you start stressing. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I could just be comfortably in my house. But here I am. And then after the event, I had this, like all the adrenaline going on and all the excitement. And I'm like, yes, when are we going to do the next?
And and the cycle continues
And
forever
it's
and ever.
like, it's a cycle with events. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, yes, but always the night before or just before the event, I'm like, why did I do this to myself? But then it's a process.
So if you're not in the Dallas area, are you live streaming these events so someone can join from another state, perhaps?
No, no, I'm not. And I think that's, when I refer to like growing and putting more, like, as we go, we put more structure. I'm not broadcasting them right now, but that's one of the things that I'm working on.
Okay, because I want to come.
I know. So, that's one of the things that, that poor circle, that we're looking ways to not just stay in the room, but, be heard.
Yeah, be international.
Yes, that's the goal. Actually, that's one of my goals, to be international.
There you go. I mean,
We
I did want to ask you because I saw that you were on Telemundo. How was that? Like, how did that come about? That's so exciting.
It is. It is exciting, and I don't know why. I love the screen. I just love it. I know some people might get intimidated, but to me, give me the light. Give me the light. I love it. Again, I think the power of networking and building relationships. I always say that I don't know why some people don't understand the power of connecting and really building bridges with people. A friendship of many years. One friendship takes you to another friendship. And a good friend of mine, it's one of the great journalists in the DFW area. And of course, she's like, sees that passion of, like, Push talking about real estate and real
Hmm.
estate this and real estate that. So she's like, hey, I'm doing this. It was this reportaje, this story about scams in the DFW. There was this lady going around, like, doing lists to purchase, but they were not doing purchases, they were just doing lists. And yes, they were like taking big down payments. So she's like, I need you to help us, about give us your input about this. So that's how it happened, like also setting yourself as an expert in your area, right? People watching you,
Hmm.
people saying, okay, she has something to say. We can put this person in Telemundo and give us an expert opinion. And I think that's the importance of make yourself present on social media.
Not
Because
only that, but saying yes. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, if they were asked to be on Telemundo, they'd be like, oh no, I'm not the expert. I don't know. And not me. But you
yeah,
said yes.
I said yes, let's do it. Yeah,
Were you
I'm
freaking
not
out
gonna.
or were you just calm?
Um, I was more worried about my hair because I put extensions that day and didn't work out. And I was
Oh,
like, I want to look nice. And they don't put your filters and Telemundo. But no, I was very confident. I think that, you know, I feel confident. We were talking about it. So I was
good for you.
excited. And, one thing that I learned is, like, you can't just let opportunities fly by, like walk by.
Yeah. Those don't
When
come
they
around every day.
when the opportunity comes, you gotta seize them. You gotta grab them and say, yes, I'm scared, but I'll fake it to make it.
And that's why you're going to be so big, Edna. You're going to grow so big.
Thank you. I received that. I received that. So I know people's like, oh no, no, I receive them with a humble heart, and I pray that yes, we'll become huge and big, and yeah, I
Well,
receive it.
to all the women business owners and realtors who are watching this, how can they connect with you on social media?
Of course, you can follow me in Posh Barbie, right? It's Posh, Posh. Barbie is Barby, right? So you can. It's a great way to connect with social media. I love social media, so I'm always connected with social media. But I think social media is a great platform where you can really, interact and get to see what the person is about. So yeah, they can connect with me through Posh Barbie.
Great. Make sure to follow her at Posh Barbie so you can watch her grow and hopefully not make too many mistakes, learn from all her wins, right?
Yes,
Because she's going to be doing big things in the Elite Builders organization, and we're so excited to watch it happen.
I'm excited. Thank you, Carla. I
Thank
appreciate.
you. Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you. I appreciate it, and you're also one of the reasons why I'm here. So thank you so
Oh,
much.